we're on to stage 12 for the Dakar Rally. We're into the heart of Argentina, but the scenery once more spectacular. Now on two wheels, Francisco Lopez of Chile may well have left his homeland, but he has got the hammer down. And it's going to be a massive day for Carlos Sainz as he battles against Nasser Al-Attiyah. Who will win the day? Yesterday, the rally passed over the Andes Mountains at a height of nearly 4,000 meters, passing Mount Aconcagua. Aconcagua is nearly 7,000 meters in height, and it's the highest peak in the Andes Mountains. Once then down on the eastern side, there was a problem for all of the bikes. A policeman had incorrectly blocked off the wrong junction at a fork. He had mistakenly sent people the wrong way. Coma, Lopez and Rodriguez had all done an extra 6 kilometers. That's 4 miles. So what had happened last night is that the stage was altered with the timings, and it's Mark Coma who now won yesterday's stage, 5 minutes ahead of Fretenier and Verhoeven, who we thought had won the stage yesterday, but he's now third. That now means that overall in the bikes, starting the day, Dupre continues to lead, but Lopez and Oliver Alceta are absolutely dead level on time. Equal second on two wheels it is as we come into this stage 12. Riding on board with Bernard Erondonia. He's driving his SMG buggy, the Swiss driver. Just going along nicely, not a problem. Finding his way. Co-driver calling the notes, no problem. But then all of a sudden it just came to a bit of a grinding halt. He says it's just come to a stop and we had no warning about that, so they were stuck on the side of the road. He says it's finished. Absolutely finished. But fortunately, some very kind competitors did stop, and although they were waved on, they gave up one of their alternators and they swapped the alternators over, and then in no time at all, they'd actually, by the time they jump started it, because their battery was flat by now of course, they got it started. But there was a terrible screeching, and that was the alternator belt that was not tight enough. If you listen, and soon the smoke from the rubber belt was pouring off, and he says stop it. But of course if it slipped that much and it's been smoking that much, then the belt is going to be absolutely ruined. They got it started and then they were back to square one all over again. Co-driver rips out the broken belt, throws it away. But once more, help was on hand. They had another belt, they had another battery, and they got everything all back together again. And in no time at all, even having their windscreen washed just as if they were at the traffic lights in downtown Zurich, they got going. The SMG buggy continues, and they are in the rally. For everybody else though, it was a question of just ticking off the miles. Still, over 1,000 kilometres of special stage action still to be completed on this year's Dakar. There is a long way to go yet. It's stage 12 as we move inland. We go from San Juan to San Rafael. Short road section, big stage, then another big road section with a neutralised section in the middle of the stage, but it's the longest day of the entire rally with nearly 800 kilometres going to be covered. The stage today was 476 kilometres long, but there was a section in the middle of 120 kilometres that was neutralised. It was avoiding a park of historical importance, the Park of the Dinosaurs. Many dinosaur bones and fossils being found in this part of the world, so there was a neutralised section. But for Lopez, the man who started the day equal second overall after the adjustments overnight after yesterday's stage 11, he started the day level, absolutely level, with Palander's Olav Alseta, and he had it all to do on the stage to try and get an advantage over the Norwegian. Lopez did exactly that, and he has been victorious for the third time this year on the Dakar Rally. More importantly, he put 1 minute and 13 seconds into Palander's Olav Alseta, so therefore overall Lopez is those 1 minute and 13 seconds ahead of Olav Alseta, the pair of them second and third respectively. That therefore leaves Helder Rodriguez on his Yamaha 450 back in 4th position overall. He didn't have too much of a great day. 7 minutes he lost to Lopez. He continues to stay in that 4th position overall, even though he was spectacular and trying just after the sun came up. Look at the length of the shadows and look at the commitment from the Portuguese. The wildlife was running. No one could catch Francisco Lopez on the stage, but there was a change in the overall standings with Alain Duclos losing out. He started the day a couple of minutes ahead of David Fretenier overall, but he was the big loser of this afternoon. Duclos finished 7th on the stage today, nearly 16 minutes down on the stage victor, but so far as he was concerned in the overall standings, he has lost his 5th position overall to the flying David Fretenier. Still leading overall is Cyril Desprez, riding the number 2 Red Bull KTM. He had some front fork problems in the latter half of the stage. The damping and the suspension was not up to what it should be, so he struggled. As always, dust was a problem, but the organisers cheekily put in some other navigational problems. I think you wish that the helicopter was sometimes never there, just as you fall off at the wrong moments. Here is Fretenier, the man who has leapt up to 5th in the overall standings. I do have to remind you, were it not for that 1.25 hour problem that he suffered in the first week with electrical problems, Fretenier would easily be in 2nd position and may even be knocking on the door of leading this rally alongside Cyril Desprez. Typical enduro quick stage for Fretenier it was today. He finished 2nd on it, only losing out on the stage victory by just 40 seconds. So Fretenier a big winner today, together with Lopez. Mark Comer, who was given the stage victory overnight after the navigational problems and mishaps yesterday afternoon. 4th this afternoon, but of course he's still way down the order. Jakub Przygonski, the Pole, stays inside the top 10, the runner-up in this year's, in 2009 World Cup Rally Raid standings. He's in 8th overall. Przygonski, young, a new spark in rally raiding on 2 wheels, and surely going to be a name to note for the future. Juan Pedrero Garcia, the youngster from Spain, has always had the attitude on this year's Dakar Rally of win at the slowest speed. It certainly worked well for him. He's inside the top 10, start number of 34 leaving Buenos Aires on New Year's Day, and he's always been a thinking rider, not taking any risks. It's paid off for him so far in this only his 2nd Dakar. He had problems last year on only the 2nd stage, but he did get to the finish. Navigational problems though for Jonas Streets out there just after the sun had come over the horizon. The Team Rally Pan Am rider decided that he wasn't quite on the right route, and that lost him nearly 19 minutes come the end of the stage. But he did get through the fesh. We'll see more of that later in the car reports. But Jonah confident and jumping into that 7th overall. Stefan Svitko, the Slovakian rider, all the 13s for him, 13th this afternoon, and he continues 13th overall. Lopez winning for the 3rd time this year, ahead of Fretinier by under a minute. Olivao Seta, then Coma and Rodriguez. Overall though, Dupre safe and sound. He may have lost time, but it matters little with over an hour's lead from Lopez. Olivao Seta, Rodriguez and Fretinier. Very nice. Very hot at the end of the stage, a lot of bumps, technical and very physical, says Lopez, the victor. Got to be careful with your riding. I enjoyed it a lot, even if it was very difficult. This stage was the hardest of the last few stages, most physical, hot, a lot of people, but I loved it. Those two battling for 2nd in the overall standings, but Olivao Seta saying it was a long and hot stage today. The last few kilometres very difficult because of the sand. It was a little bit too bumpy in places, but I like the sand very much. When you make a mistake, sometimes my bike is a bit too big to chuck about in the sand. Lopez beat me for a couple of minutes or so, but I did a good stage anyway, and Rodriguez is behind, so I'm pretty happy.
Så jeg vet han Rodriguez tror jeg har greid å parkere noen minutter, så det er bra.
The stage started early this morning, long way away from here. Long day because I'm following the orders of everybody else, my team, my mechanics, my manager, my physio. I've got to take it cool. Each minute by minute I'm getting closer to Buenos Aires. I take my time and not to do any mistakes. It's not so easy to do.
Et puis voilà, j'essaie de pas faire de bêtises et c'est déjà pas facile.